Psalms 27. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even my enemies and my foes, come upon me to eat my flesh, they stumbled and fell. Though a host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war shall rise against me, in this will I be confident. One thing I desired of the Lord, and that I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, and behold the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire of his temple. If you take the word Lord and replace it by love, this is all about love. When you are fully in love, when you truly love, it sets you free. Free from fear, free from hatred, free from everything. And so it's really important to abide in love. Hatred and fear come as a result of a lack of love. You don't have love in your heart, these things will come about. It's that simple. So let's now talk about heroines and how they are portrayed, especially on posters in Hollywood. If you look here, this is Divergent. Now, why is it that the heroine in Divergent has to show her rear end to the audience? This is absolutely unnecessary, right? Why is she showing it? Because they're selling her sexuality. And women have always been objectified. I'm not saying that objectifying women isn't something they don't like to a certain degree, but it gets very uncomfortable when they're forcing you to have to portray yourself a certain way so that you can get sales. And that's my problem. And this also happens in the superhero industry. As much as I loved Tim Burton's Batman Returns, and I do agree, Catwoman doesn't have a problem flaunting her sexuality at all. In fact, she maneuvers it as a tool, and therefore she's absolutely perfectly in character to be espousing this. In fact, to me, this is the most sexy Catwoman I have ever seen in live action, to be honest with you. And I'm talking about all the way back into the 60s with Catwoman back then. She was awesome too, but Michelle Pfeiffer kills it with this Catwoman. I'm not lying about it. Tim Burton did a great job, the costume designers, etc. This is the most sexy Catwoman ever. All right. But having said that, it follows into the same trope. To sell the movie, we're going to sell it off of Catwoman's notorious sexuality, and that's basically what's happening there. Obviously, Halle Berry's Catwoman. She strikes a pose that's absolutely showing both her boobs and her butt. Okay? And that's pretty much what that's about. As much as you want to say, oh, she's being athletic and so on. No, not really. That's a very compromising position to be in. I'm not saying comic book characters don't do that, but I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be politically correct either. Now, this is just uncalled for. They were giving back views of the characters. The mask, the fact that they want to show Catwoman's butt, okay? I don't care what you guys say, and I'm going to show you it again. I'm going to show you it many times, okay? Many comic book characters, okay? But Catwoman, as an anti-hero, showing her ass, okay? And if you think I'm joking, here it is again. This time she's showing her ass, and she's looking around, but showing her ass. And why? Is that necessary? No! It's not. But you think Catwoman's a sexy character, so you can say, oh, well, it's Catwoman, right? And we can make the excuses for that. It's Catwoman, right? Fantastic Four. This is blatant selling of sexuality. This is basically eye candy. Oh, you don't believe me? Okay, how about this one? Clearly, come on now. Come on now. It's getting ridiculous now, right? It's getting more and more obvious to you, isn't it? She strikes this pose. Okay, fine. You could say, oh, that's a power stance. Yeah, where you kick out your ass and then you push out your boobs. Fine. But I'm just saying, I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be politically correct here, okay? All right? And this is not someone who is supposed to be in the Fantastic Four. She's not. She's very attractive, but she's not supposed to be flaunting it. You know what I'm saying? This is not Catwoman, okay? I'm going to show you something about Hollywood. Now, this was Fantastic Four. This is the one that bombed. But why are we looking at her ass again? I mean, this whole entire shot to watch this just to show her ass. And you think I was joking? There are other photos where she's side on with her ass turned towards you. And this was a movie that bombed, okay? It wasn't trying to flout sex in that movie. And it's just crazy. I mean, here we are. Elektra. Look at the pose. I mean, come on. Why is Black Widow showing her ass? Why did Black Widow have to show her ass? We didn't need to see Black Widow's ass. Black Widow was a kick-ass. We were going to see Avengers regardless. We had seen her in Captain America and she kicks ass. We didn't need to see her ass, but they do. You know, and I feel for this actor. I mean, she is sexy and she's pretty and everything. But oh, come on. Like, come on, Hollywood. So finally, if you go and watch every single Wonder Woman poster, you're not going to see her flaunting her sexuality. Wonder Woman literally is Wonder Woman. And there are a couple of other movies in Hollywood with their posters. I'm just talking about posters right now, where the women didn't flaunt their ass, okay? And let me give you some of them. So the first one we have is Supergirl. Believe it or not, Supergirl's sexy, she's pretty and everything, but Supergirl never really flaunted her ass. And in fact, if you go and watch that 1984 movie, it's pretty interesting because they try to make her objectified, and she keeps on pushing back in the movie, which is pretty cool. And of course, it was ahead of its time, so people didn't like that, and it wasn't shot that great and all of that. So I understand. Superman was on the decline and all that too. But look at the dragon behind her here. I thought it was pretty cool, and she's holding this crystal ball thing. It's part of the storyline. It's pretty interesting. Harley Quinn, obviously, you can see she's being a sexual object here, whether you like it or not. This is a pose, even though that's a typical Harley Quinn stance, we know that's, again, sexualizing her, okay? So, but she's, again, Harley Quinn, Catwoman, Poison Ivy, they literally flaunt their sex so that they can entrance you, right? So we know Harley Quinn's a manipulator, Catwoman's a manipulator, Poison Ivy's they're bad guys, but they're kind of sometimes good guys, right? So I'm kind of cool with that. But still, because it's in keeping with the character, but still, man, Hollywood, man. Anyway, Rogue One did not over-sexualize the lead character. It was really cool, and that's what I like about the Jedi films, Star Wars. Now, a certain Star Wars film, they objectified Princess Leia, which was just not cool, but hey, it's cool, kind of, but it's not cool at the same time. You know what I mean? And then we have Star Wars The Force Awakens, which again did not objectify any woman in it, which I thought was pretty cool and very progressive because we actually had a black hero in that movie as well, which was pretty progressive about it. So I really like that. My point anyway is this, that when you look at these superhero movies, you know, here we have the Justice League, which is coming up, and Wonder Woman's not really objectified. If you look at her, they're not trying to focus on her physique, even though she has a great physique and all of that, but she's not really objectified. And I thought that was really cool. I mean, to a certain degree. No, I find it, now I look at it, the skirt's a little high, but eh. So everybody wears fitted clothing here, so it's pretty cool. But at the same time, I didn't see it for Wonder Woman. And I just pointed out a couple other movies, some of them are not superhero movies, where the hero or heroine is not objectified, or she's not a sexual object, or they're not putting her in compromising poses, which is pretty cool. Okay? I just wish that they would. I understand certain characters need to be that way because that's who they are and that's how they are. And I'm not saying you desexualize people. That's ridiculous, right? If you're a woman, you're a woman. You know what I'm saying? If you're attractive, you're attractive. You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand why sometimes they have to have them strike certain poses. You know what I'm saying? I know the comic books have it too, but still strike certain poses, which to me just over-sexualizes them. It's not necessary, right? There's no reason why in this Divergent series this girl needs to be showing her ass. You see what I'm saying? I just don't understand that part. And it doesn't even look that attractive. you know. And then when we talk about, I mean, Catwoman gets a pass, you know, but Fantastic Four, I'm not saying she's not sexy and she's not pretty, but come on now. Look at that pose. I mean, come on. She might as well have been naked. You know what I'm saying? And what you know what this is? You know what this is. I'm not okay. Again, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at Hollywood. You can do that. I'm just saying every single movie you guys come out with, you have to objectify the woman. That's what I don't understand. That's the part I don't understand. You know, you can do it for some, but I mean, for all of them. I mean, guys, go back and check every single comic book movie I'm talking about, where a woman is in a lead position or a lead role, and see if they don't objectify her in some way, shape, or form, over sexualize her sometimes. And I'm not being, again, I'm not trying to be politically correct here. It's just something I've noticed. And I noticed Wonder Woman kind of departed from that, but she's not the first. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying, look, women are built different to men. So I'm not saying you can't accentuate certain things, especially if they have no problem doing that as actors. But if they're not comfortable doing that, I mean, X-Men series, go check it out. I mean, just go check it out. I'm not saying, again, these characters shouldn't be that way because they're not comic book characters. I'm saying, cool. I'm just saying, sometimes I just get the feeling that this is to sort of satiate a certain audience. You know what I'm saying? Because we see it in commercials all the time. I mean, commercials are getting much more politically savvy and much more sensible about how they do things and innovative. But, I mean, there's nothing wrong with falling back on sexuality. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying it's exploited, and we can tell when some people are in compromising positions and they're just trying to exploit the thing. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that looking from behind your shoulder isn't cool and sexy. I'm just saying we see it so often that we know it's a gameplay. It's something they're trying to do to manipulate the audience, which I find is not cool. See, women are much more than just their ass and their boobs. That's all I'm saying. You guys have a great one.